guys, it's time for another episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real-life TwoComa Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up some golden nuggets of actionable advice from these million-dollar entrepreneurs. Now, if you don't know what a TwoComa Club winner is, it's where they've built one funnel inside the ClickFunnels software and they've sold $1 million just through that one funnel, which is absolutely awesome. In today's episode, I'm super excited to be talking to Jonathan Schlossberg, who unexpectedly achieved a TwoComa Club award and is now working on his second one with his wife. He was a TV actor turned entrepreneur, and now he juggles entrepreneurship with homeschooling his 4 children. So let's dive in and find out what he does and how he achieved a TwoComa Club award and everything else that happened along the way. Okay, so welcome, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hey, great.
Have we started? Are we started?
Yes, we're started.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So first off, I want to congratulate you on getting a TwoComa Club award.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Super, super awesome. So what I like to do with my guests is go check out their social media accounts.
Oh, Lord.
And see what I can find.
Go for it. You'll probably find more under my wife's because she's much more active. But yes, you can please go and stalk me for a few.
The reason I like to do this is because it shows people that some people who have a very small following, but they can still achieve a TwoComa Club versus somebody who has massive following. So it's really good to show people the difference. So I'll be honest, I couldn't find the right lot.
You couldn't find what?
I couldn't find much in your name. A Facebook page, The Good Marketing, I found about 218 followers.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you've got a Facebook group or not. I couldn't find one. Do you have one?
We do. It's called What's Good with Jonathan and Sasha. It's a small following, a couple thousand, maybe 3,000.
Okay, and Instagram under your name, about 1,200 followers.
Yep.
LinkedIn, I think you've got 5,000 followers on LinkedIn.
Something like that.
I didn't look under your wife, so I looked you up on TikTok. I couldn't find you on TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
I am, but we actually just started a whole new thing. So my old channel is kind of going to go away, and we've literally created a whole new strategy. So we're actually literally starting yesterday, implementing a whole new strategy in terms of that. So yeah.
Awesome. So do you want to tell our listeners exactly what it is you do and what's the name of your business?
So our company name is Good Marketing, and we help good businesses acquire good customers. And that's along the lines for coaches and entrepreneurs, as well as our consulting clients who are larger companies. So everywhere from the solo entrepreneur to the small team with fractional help to upwards of 10 to 25 million in revenue. We just work with them in different capacities. And our specialty, mine is the funnel systems automation process. My wife's is more content messaging strategy, but what we do is creative lead generation with amplification.
All right. Okay. So, I also saw something that I thought was really cool. Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. Yes. Yes. We beat to a different drum. We're all about acquiring customers that align with us. We're an anti-racist, inclusive company. We promote authenticity and being yourself. So it's really like what you see is what you get. And so whether we're on a webinar, doing a live, posting on social, a guest on somebody's podcast, like there's no difference. Like, or you meet us in person. It's not like you meet a lot of people and it's like how they show up and how they behave are very different and don't align. We are all about like attracting your tribe or your people, finding those, but like really being able to say the things you want to say, being able to just be you.
Right. Okay, cool. So when was it that you actually did the $1 million sales in your funnel?
Okay, so it's an interesting. So we did this one, so probably a couple of years ago. I've been building funnels. I've been a user of ClickFunnels since 2014. I went to like the second funnel hacking live and had been using it prior. And this one was, and it's well over $1 million now. I don't even know where it is now, but I was partnered with a friend of mine for his program. And so I built the funnel and we worked together on it. And I think I got it last year.
Okay. And was that your first one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Built a number, but not more. Like we built a number of funnels. This was the first one we were really driving for like sales and going for things. If I go into my account, I mean, I just literally archived, I don't know how many, but I probably had like 50 or 60 funnels in there that we built, whether it's lead magnets or webinars or et cetera, et cetera.
So what was the type of funnel that you got the TwoComa Club with?
It was for an SEO program course. And so it was a long opt-in. I built it out. My wife wrote the copy, and then it took them to like a free training mini webinar, which then brought them to the opportunity to, when they're watching it, to sign up for the program.
All right. Okay. So were you going for the TwoComa Club? Was it a goal?
I think I've always wanted to get one. But it wasn't like I built the funnel to get the TwoComa Club. It was like we built the funnel to create success in the program, and the byproduct of that is the TwoComa Club. I think it's kind of that double-edged sword. Like when we first got into ClickFunnels, like the TwoComa Club seemed like this thing that you couldn't get. And then it's like I've been a part of it for so long. There's so many that have been given out. Like when I first joined, like a few people had it.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more. So I don't know if it was like I was actively like I've got to get it. But it's kind of like a nice feather in the cap going, okay, after this much time, like, okay, it proves the value.
Okay. So when you did achieve it, did it pass you by without you knowing, or did you know you were close to hitting it?
I had no idea. So like while I built the funnel and we did all of those things, I wasn't in charge of watching the sales come in. And so really it was like, I was chatting with my buddy and he's like, yeah, look what I got. And I was like, look what you got. Look what we got. So like he had gotten it, and then I had to like go in and submit my application to actually get them to send it to me. So it was actually really funny. I was like, hey, let's share the accolades, if we will.
So did they send you a separate one, or did you get both names on? All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So did you celebrate then?
That's a good question. Did I celebrate? I mean, I think so. I mean, it's not like we went out to dinner and like bought lobster tails, but I would say we definitely were excited and shared about it and celebrated that. And then between my wife and I celebrated. I think she was more excited than I was.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I think she was like, you've always wanted this. And I'd be like, she's like, you've wanted, like, yeah. Okay. But so, yes.
So did you go up to Funnel Hacking Live and get it on the stage, or have you not done that?
No, I was not able to go. Like it happened, like Funnel Hacking Live happened, and then I found out that we got it. So it was I missed it. Like I'm sure if I went to one, I could walk the stage. But now it's like, because I was partnered with my friend on his program. Yeah. Our goal now is to do one for ourselves in what we're doing, to get a second one. So it's like, I know I build good funnels. I know we have great copy. I know it has good conversions. Like those things are foregone conclusions. But now for purely self-motivational reasons, we want to do one not for someone else or someone else's thing, but for our own thing.
Right. Okay. So let's do a little bit of a rewind now then. I want to take you back to your childhood.
Okay.
What did your childhood look like?
That is such an interesting question. It was busy. Like I was always like go, 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 move, move, move. But like we moved a lot. So I was constantly in a new place, but very active. My mother very much fostered a creative, like thriving environment. I mean, I started my own first company at the age of 8. I started a chocolate chip cookie company.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I did that so I could like raise money to like, or earn money, and not raise money, earn money to go buy a plane ticket to visit my grandparents. So like, I've always been kind of a go-getter, self-starter. If there was a, you know, we had like a sale, like basically like Girl Scout cookies, but it was like at our junior high for like selling peanuts. And like most people sold like a couple hundred, like I sold cases of them. So it's always been like going out there and accomplishing the task and superseding. But then I had, you know, honestly, it wasn't always easy because we moved a lot.
So why did you move a lot?
So my dad was in advertising. And so he would either work, we were from Memphis, well, he was from Memphis. So that was like where he would sometimes work because he knew the people there. But then Chicago and New York were big advertising hubs. So he would bounce between jobs. So we were constantly bouncing, and, you know, there's a whole story behind there that's not worth going into, but you know, but so we were constantly moving. So I think by the time like I went to college, I had moved over 20 times.
All right. Okay.
So it was a lot. And so like I adapted a skill for like meeting and acclimating and doing all of that and, you know, putting myself out there. But when I finally moved to one point during my adolescence, it's like I all of a sudden didn't fit in, and it just became a horrible experience for like 4 years of my life that like sort of shaped a lot of things for me. And I don't want to camp on that because that's something that like it happened. But then my parents got divorced, and so like there's like it was great, and then life happens, and you know, everybody's problems or trauma or whatever it is that happens to them are as powerful as we give them and are as weighted as we give them. And I think as kids, you know, I don't think anybody doesn't have some sort of something that's happened to them. And to answer your question, I think I had a good childhood.
Yeah. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were
Oh goodness. I think the first time I ever wrote something down, my mom kept it, and it was a disco roller skater. Yeah. I don't remember that at all. I'm trying to think, like, what did I want to be? I don't know if I ever really knew.
No.
The disco roller skater was kind of fun. Like I played soccer and sports. Like when I got to like high school and college, I had no idea. Like I was a kinesiology major because I liked sports, and I thought I was going to go into PT, and then very quickly that didn't happen. And then I was going to be a chiropractor. And then I decided I didn't want to be an old man and wish I had done what I really wanted to do. So I pursued acting and was a professional actor for 18 years in Los Angeles.
All right. Okay. So after high school, you went to college to do
kinesiology.
What's that then? Oh, with muscles.
The study of the body, motion, movement, health.
All right. Okay. But you finished that. How did you get into acting?
So this will age me, but when I was, I think, a junior, Batman Forever came out, the one with Chris O'Donnell.
Right.
And they were doing an open casting call. They were looking for, it's fun. They were looking for a Chris O'Donnell type, but they did this huge open casting call. So I hadn't done theater or any of that since I was a little kid, but I was at University of Illinois, and they were doing a huge casting in Chicago. So like I got headshots, I drove up, and I went to the casting call and got a call back. And now the casting call, I mean, like when they talk about cattle calls, it literally was like a room full of like 300 people, and looked at my picture, looked at me and said, okay, you can come back, or it asked me one question. And then I went and did like an actual audition in their hotel room because the casting director was traveling. And that's as far as it went, but it kind of lit a little bit of a fire in me going like, this is what I would like to do. And so that was where I was like, I remember my mom saying like, she regrets when she was younger, not going to Italy. And I was like, I don't want to be 65 and looking back going, I wish I had.
Yeah.
And so I was either going to travel Europe for 6 months and then go to chiropractic school, or I was going to pursue acting. And I just decided that I don't want to look back and say, I wish I had. And so I graduated, moved up to Chicago, started taking class, did all of Second City. And then after a few years, moved to LA and spent the next 17 or 18 years there.
Okay. So what sort of, it's really interesting because I always wanted to be an actress when I was younger and I never.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what did you do? What did you do then? What was the jobs that you got?
The most, I would say the ones that people would know the most, I did a recurring on Young and the Restless, which is a soap opera. I was on Grey's Anatomy, Criminal Minds, Shameless, Entourage, short-lived show called Torchwood, which is a British show.
Yeah.
That they brought over to the US. So those would be the most of the shows that I did.
Awesome.
Mostly TV.
Shameless was in the UK as well.
Yeah, that was an original show in the UK too. I obviously didn't do the UK version of it though.
That'd be interesting to see what part you played in Shameless.
Right? No, I did not do that. So I mean, I was working, not full time. You know, I think there's, to demystify it, it is, you know, it's like with a lot of things, there's a 2% success rate. And so like I made some of my living, but usually, you know, had some sort of other survival job. And
okay. So what was that?
Usually service industry, bartending, serving. I never had a 9 to 5. I was not the kind of person that was like, hey, let me sit at a desk and let me do this. It was like I needed to have my freedoms, and I kind of had an issue, maybe I still do, with authority. So with restaurants, it was like, hey, I need the time off so I can audition, I could come in, I could make my money, and I could get out. That still didn't necessarily, I still had my authority issues, so I worked at a lot of restaurants. And then through a number of circumstances, we ended up, my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, fell into the entrepreneurial path. Okay.
So how did that happen then? So did one day you decide you were giving up acting, or how did that happen?
I think after as long as I had been doing it, I no longer, like, it was always like, everybody was like, how long you give yourself? And I was like, I'm not giving myself a timeline, because that's setting yourself up for failure. I was like, I'm going to do it until I don't want to do it anymore. And I was doing it, and I was getting auditions and not loving the auditions. Like, even like, I wasn't thrilled when I got it. I was more like, ugh, and not feeling it. And I just realized I wasn't loving it. And so my wife and I met opening up a restaurant, and then we worked together so well, and we were just friends. We would like hop from restaurant, and either I would bring her or she would bring me. And so we realized we enjoyed working together, and we were dating, and a casting director actually invited me to an event, a home party. And so I was like, we wanted to like rub shoulders, rub elbows, or whatever it is with her. And so I was asked Sasha, I was like, do you want to go to this? And she's like, yeah, as long as you're okay with us signing up, because it was a network marketing event. And so we went, we sat there and listened to the whole pitch, and we had been studying real estate. We were like 2 tests into real estate, and it really wasn't for us. But we knew we wanted to work together. We wanted to have it to be something of our own. So going to this thing, and it was new, and everything sounded good. And we were like, yeah, we're in. What we didn't realize is, you know, as 2 actors with waiting tables, you don't have a lot of influence, and you need influence in network marketing for it to be successful. So we jumped in, we did all the things right. And during that, our first foray into it, she got pregnant, and horrible morning sickness. And so this was a face-to-face people party event kind of company. So she couldn't do any of that. And so we had heard about this mythical unicorn about people doing it online. And so we started searching, we found another company, we switched companies and started working online, had some success. And that was our first foray into internet marketing, digital marketing. And then from there, we ended up meeting our mentor who kind of took us under his wing, kind of taught us all the things. We followed him for a while. We were always the young couple with a baby, wearing a baby on our chest in the front row, VIP section, like learning, and he took notice. And essentially from there, we started working for him after a number of years, and I became his VP of Ops, and she was the lead strategist and content strategist. And so we launched.
Was that internet marketing then? Was that
yes.
MLM?
Yes and no. So it wasn't. So we launched like 7 brands, Facebook ads, websites, all of the things, SEO, all in and around that. But it was different than the typical network marketing. So he would go, because he was a huge under the radar internet marketer. So he would go straight to corporate and get deals with the company. And these deals, he would come in, get these deals, and then we would go and generate thousands of leads and signups for the company. And then that would run its course, and we'd hop to another company.
Right. Okay.
And so it was very atypical of when you think of like, hey, let me talk to my friends and family, or let me try to do this online and see who I can get. Like, he was all about lead generation and converting those leads into signups. And so that's how we learned our skill. It was really about how to creatively generate leads and then turn them into clients or signups. And so his deals would be with the corporate. So there's this whole behind the curtain world in network marketing. Right. That nobody talks about. And I don't want to go into all of that, but like deals are happening all over the place. And so like when you hear people like doing really well, they either come from another company or they have a deal with the company, all these sort of things. And so we did that for a while. And then his publishing company ran out of funding. So we stopped doing network marketing. It ran out of funding. So on the same day, pregnant with our second, was that our second or third? Second. We both lost our jobs in July, and we were like, what are we going to do? Right. We had all these skills. Like it's crazy. Like the expertise that we have are so varied because of all the things that we've done, but we never did anything for ourselves. It was always generating things for somebody else that we didn't know what to do because we didn't know what to sell for ourselves. Right. That we were at a friend's house swimming in their pool, and she was like, just start an agency. We're like, okay, we knew how to run Facebook ads. I knew SEO. So we opened up a Facebook ads and SEO agency. We've been consulting with a few clients on the side, our birth center and our chiropractor. So that's what we did. And we focused on the holistic health niche because that's what we knew, and we knew they needed it. And we worked far too hard for far too little money, but built it up. And I would say not really an agency so much, because when you're mom and pop, when your husband and wife work in it, you're doing all the things. You're not really an agency, Yeah. You just I think everybody calls themselves an agency because it sounds good, or but we were doing all the work. And like Christmas Eve, I was sitting in church fixing a Facebook ad for a client, and we looked at each other and we were like, oh, this just does not work.
When was this then? When did you start it on your own?
Oh gosh, I'm horrible with dates. So a couple of years before COVID, I would say.
All right. Okay. So like
we've been doing this for like 8 to 10 years, and we've been on our own for about 5 or 6, I would say. But before COVID, and we looked at each other and like we had a good client list, and it was fantastic, but it was a lot of us doing all the work. And after that, we looked at each other, and then COVID hit. And, when you're working with these small businesses, when COVID hit, they all just like grabbed their chips and pulled them in. Yeah. And we're like, no, this is the time you need to market. You need to let the people know that it's safe, that you're still there, but they, it decimated our client list. And that's when my wife was working with with a coach, and we worked together with another coach, and we launched my first program, which was called the Automatic Client System, which was essentially designed to take business owners and give them the resources to build their own funnel, build their own autoresponder, and how to run Facebook ads because what we found is when you're an agency, when you're running it, once they leave you, they don't have any of their own assets.
Right.
Launched it very well, very successful, the first beta launch, and no business owner completed it because they were busy running their business. Right. And then I burnt out and didn't sell it. And that's when my wife came up with her program. And so to answer your question of the long story short, that's how we've gotten to where we are, with a lot of iterations and a lot of changes and shifts and trying to stay ahead of the curve in a lot of different ways.
So how did you come across ClickFunnels then in the first place? You said you found them way back when they were first starting out.
So when we were doing, when we moved online from the first network marketing company to the second marketing company, we would get these landing pages. You know, they give you they talk about landing pages and collecting leads and a funnel, and we had no idea what it was. And they had these systems in place where you could sign up for it and you'd get these pre-built landing pages with some emails or whatever, and teach you how to create like an Aweber account and all of those things. And what we ended up doing is just learning about that and then getting our own so we could generate our own leads for ourselves. So we very quickly, very early on, I mean, we weren't building sales pages in the beginning. We were building opt-in pages, you know, landers with a quick thank you page, and they were ugly and not copy driven and didn't know what we were trying to give because we didn't, you know, and we tried a bunch of different things, and that's kind of how we got started. And then I just really took to it and just really dove in and started building and having fun with it and creating longer things and all of that.
So how did you actually find ClickFunnels though? Were you recommended it, or did you just stumble across it on the internet, or what?
I'm gonna guess that the people that were giving us the opt-in pages were using ClickFunnels, and probably one of them mentioned it, probably gave us their affiliate link.
Right. And
then signed up and just kind of started tooling around with it, and then started following Russell and diving in. I mean, it's exploded in the 8 years that I think I've been using.
Yeah.
So it was very different.
So when did you said you've got a Facebook group. When did you start your own Facebook group?
I think we've had one for a while, but we never really put attention to it. But like over the past year and a half, we've just kind of done things with it. We're never like, we haven't ever really been, we need a huge following. You know, we're all about the connection. So I think there's a couple thousand people in it, and we post in it and we show up in it. I don't know, like, it just, every time we've done it, it just feels inauthentic to try to use it to like farm clients. Most of our clients have just found us online and resonated with who we are, and then they may join the group.
All right.
But
okay.
we've joined a program where it was like, hey, how to make $1 bazillion using your group. And it was just very, very bro-y. And we're like anti-bro culture. Like, so it just didn't work. For us, it's about connection, like talking to the person, making sure it's a good fit, you know, and that sort of thing.
So how do you find your clients now then? How do they find you?
Typically through our social. We're in the process of actually shifting that. Like, one of our specialties is how to use organic social to generate sales. It used to be like generate sales on demand, but it's like how to use social to actually attract your clients that you want to work with, without having to drop into their DMs or do those cold pitches. And so most of our clients have come to us through that way. We're making a shift now where we'll be using a couple different platforms. And then I think we're gonna, for scalability and building a new audience, is diving into more ad driven.
All right. Okay. So you haven't been using ads at the moment?
No, when we launched her program like 2 years ago, we ran ads for a very short period of time. And that was the last time. But Facebook's gotten really, I got to tell you, because most people are running Facebook, Instagram ads. Facebook's gotten weird. I mean, I know huge marketers. I had one account banned completely for no reason. Banned, gone, couldn't ever touch it again. All of my other ad accounts have been shut down. So it's like, I'm in the process of having to like recreate everything. And I know like huge, like some of the biggest marketers in Europe, their accounts are getting shut down. They're having to use like their mother's account to run ads. So it's like, it's a really interesting time right now.
Yeah. Facebook ads are not the best at the moment, are they?
No.
So how did the person that you did the $1 million funnel with, how did you meet?
We were in an SEO training program 8 years ago. And then like we were in one program and then we connected, and then I don't remember how we just got to get to know each other. And then he launched his course, which was very different. And we were just chopping up and we was like, do you want to partner on this? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so since then, I mean, we've gotten to be good friends. We've partnered on a number of deals and things like that. But like, just like in the whole SEO world, it's kind of like if you start becoming into like, you know, every world becomes smaller and smaller once you dive into it.
So did he pay you to build the funnel, or were you like a joint partner? Did you get a percentage of his sales, or how did that work?
No, we were partners, not in a JV sense. So like I was brought on as sort of his marketing guy. So we were running his ads, creating that. I built the funnel, the follow-up sequence, all of the pieces into that. Now, looking back at it, maybe I should have, you know, if wishes were kisses, I would have said, let's do a joint venture. I'll take less and, you know, but, you know, when you're doing it at the time, you never know. And I think this was earlier on in my funnel building that I would say, like, when you don't know what it's going to do, take the cash in hand. You probably need it. But if but as things shift, you may want to start looking at taking a percentage because it can turn into something really big.
Yeah. So what do you think's been your biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome on your journey so far?
Oh, that is another very, very good question. What is the biggest hurdle? Overcomplicating.
Yeah.
I think that like for my wife and I, in what we're doing, we tend to make it, and I just read it in a book, it's so easy to overcomplicate where simplicity tends to win. And my focus now is like, how am I going to make it more simple? How do I make it so like it's easier for people to give us money? And I don't have to make all these hoops that people have to jump into, and I give people what they want. And sometimes I would say not focusing on the right thing. Right. But you know, and maybe not sticking with something long enough. Like, oh, this is working, it's not working as well as I want, so I'm going to shift real quick. And I think we as entrepreneurs do that. We expect an instantaneous return, whereas that's not always going to happen. Yeah.
They do say some people, they give up too soon, and then that's when you're on the cusp of when it's going to blow up.
Yeah. And so, and it's a fine line, because you don't want to spend too much time working on something that has no potential to go.
Yeah.
But you don't want to give up too soon. So it's like finding that balance and you know, also being in tune with what you know intuitively and what's working and what people want. So there's a lot of factors into it.
And do you think there's been a time where you thought about giving it all up and going and getting a job?
Oh, no. I mean, well, no, that's not true. like there's times where you're like, oh, this is so frustrating, I should just go wait tables. And then you go, there's no way I can support my life waiting tables. Like, I have 4 kids and a wife and all these things. And it's like, in one day you can make what you would make in a month.
Yeah.
But it's a journey. And I don't think people tell you how how many ups and downs there really going to be. And that it's not like, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to launch this business. I'm going to be a coach or whatever it is. And boom, out of the gate, it rocks. You know, it isn't easy. And anything worthwhile, I don't think is necessarily easy. Life isn't easy.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. We were walking. He's like, I have all these ideas, but I'm risk adverse. And I wanted to be like, do it. And I'm like, you know what? It isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody shouldn't do it. But I'm going to say something real quick. This is typical standard of me in a podcast. I need to take a minute because I'm going to pee in my pants. And that's as real as you get for me. So if we can hold for just a second, I'm very quick, but I will be right back. Is that okay?
Sure, do it.
Fabulous. I'll be right there.
A few moments later.
I'm back.
Awesome.
Your
Okay.
viewers are like, wow, that is weird. And I'm like, usually my wife and I are doing podcasts together a lot. So it's really easy. I'm like, guys, it's that time again. Every webinar we ever do, I have to pee halfway through. But I will say this, we started 75 hard yesterday.
Oh, did you?
And so we're on day 2, and the whole drink a gallon of water thing is really, really making things happen.
Okay.
So thank you for being so kind.
That's okay. Right then, what do you think's been your biggest achievement on your entrepreneurial journey so far?
Man. So I work with my wife. We have 4 kids. We work from home and we homeschool.
Oh dear.
I think the biggest achievement is being able to navigate that all and having some sort of balance. It's not perfect by any means, and it's not for everybody, but it's what works for us. I think that, we've had $100,000 booked months, which is great. We've had huge days, but I think it's like, I honestly think the biggest achievement is like, for me, slowing down and learning, knowing it's a journey. I've been so tied to the results.
Yeah.
Like when I hit this, when I hit that, when I get that. And every time I've gotten there, it's always, you're never fulfilled. You may be fulfilled for a minute, right? But like, then it's like, what's the next thing you're going to? And really trying to enjoy the process through it all. So there's been a lot of growth. And so who I was to who I am to who I'm going to be, that's really exciting. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but I should I elaborate more? Do you have more questions?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's okay. That must be hard work though, homeschooling 4 children and working from home.
Yes. To be completely clear, my 7-year-old, I have a 7, 5, 3, and 1. If you want to get crazy, 7, 5, 3, and 1, all 4 December birthdays, all within 2 weeks. So Thanksgiving to New Year's is insane. 7-year-old homeschooled, 16-month-old not in school. The middle 2 were actually going to a homeschool preschool, but now for the summer they're all home. So it is, I mean, it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But I also think like it's a choice. It's like the choice we made. And so we knew what we were getting into. I don't think we knew how challenging it would be, but it's so rewarding. And some days are better than others. But, we actively made the choice to have 4 kids 2 years apart so that they would be best friends and to homeschool them, because we weren't thrilled with the choices that we were seeing in the education system around where we live. Right. So
I see. So what does your morning, do you have a morning routine?
Now we do. So for 75 hard, we get up, I make a waffle and get water bottles ready. we go for a walk for 45 minutes, take the kids to the park, and we walk in circles, and then we come home. I'm responsible for 99.76% of the food in the house. So I'll make breakfast for everyone. We'll eat breakfast. Usually then, depending on the day, I'll get the kids in on their scooters and in the stroller. Not 75 hard, I would walk them to the gym, and my wife would drive there and meet us after she had a call or something like that. So it's kind of like we're shifting routines. So it's a little bit of a mixture.
Right.
I was trying to meditate in the morning, but 4 kids starting to get up between 5:30 doesn't quite happen unless I want to get up at the crack of 4, and I don't. Yeah, that's kind of the routine. Then we settle into work. We'll go to the gym, and we're part of a fancy gym. We're at a fancy gym, which has childcare. So we take the kids, and we don't use the gym so much to work out, but we use the gym for 2 hours of take our kids so we can focus on 2 hours of focused work time. Then we'll bring them back. They'll do nap time and lunch and nap time. Then we'll have a little bit more time. And then we try to do activities or stuff during the day. And then my wife and I just kind of flip-flop. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it's hard. She can task switch much better than me. If you haven't noticed, I'm neurodivergent. I'm ADHD, so it's that's new for me over the past 6 months. So for me, task switching is hard. If I'm in dad mode, making breakfast and doing those things and tidying up and playing with the kids, for me to get all of a sudden she's like, "You have focused work time now." I'm like, ugh. But yeah, it's really, our schedules vary a lot. And because she knew I was doing this, she took the kids to the gym for me. But if we're doing something, or on just a Zoom call, there's 100% chance you're going to meet one of our kids. And there's probably about an 85% chance you'll meet all 4.
That's cool. So what's your focus now for 2022, the rest of this year now?
We're moving back to LA. So I don't know if it'll happen by the end of this year, but the goal is to move back to LA. My wife's program was called the 7-Figure Content Blueprint.
Okay.
And so and I don't know if you saw that or not. So
yeah, I saw that.
We had that, and it was it started off as a 3-month, then it went to a 6-month, then it went to a 12-month mastermind. And then we've done some consulting in there, but we've created the coursified version of it that people can do self-paced. And that's going to be our real big focus. Is actually, we're in the process of what the landing page you saw, sales page you saw, is completely changing. And we're going to be launching ads for that and really driving towards that. Because we want to just make it easier. We want to make it more accessible. We went high ticket. Yeah, a lot of the coaches. And I think the coaching space has gotten super saturated super fast.
Yeah.
And started to get a bad name because there's no oversight. So you don't have to prove yourself to start coaching. You can charge whatever you want. Prices are crazy inflated. And so we're going to go contrarian, and we're going to release our program at a ridiculously affordable, no-brainer price, because we want more people to have the access to be able to do the thing, because access has become so challenging.
Right. Okay. So how are you going to do that? Is it going to be just a sales page, or are you going to do a webinar? What are you going to do to promote that?
So we have a sales page. So a number of things. We'll drive through. We have some really fantastic opt-ins, like lead magnets. Lead magnets are my wife's love language. So we have 4 that we're going to focus on, and all of those afterwards are going to drive to inviting you to a webinar.
Okay.
We're going to build a network of referrals. But we're also then going to drive to a webinar that drives to the sales page, but we will also run ads straight to the sales page.
All right.
So we'll test a bunch of different stuff and see what works best. I think people, once they get to know us, they have an affinity for us because of who we are, what we stand for, and just that we're people. And people will come to us and be like, I don't even know what you do, but like, I love you and we want to work with you. That's kind of how it happens so much. So we're going to just test, and ads will be an interesting beast to jump back into because it's been a while since I've done them, but yeah.
Are you going to try TikTok ads?
Yes. 100%. That, since we're doing this, and I don't know if this is airing now or being edited, but like our whole focus is TikTok. 100% our whole focus, because we're moving back to LA. So we're launching our business TikTok and we're launching our family TikTok, which, because we're going back to LA to do more acting as well,
all right,
our goal is not just to sell our course, but we're going to grow a huge following so that like it makes our lives acting easier, because when you have a big following, the casting people and the producers are more interested. And when I left, when I left, and when it first started, we were all like, we were actors, and who cares how many Twitter followers and all, like Instagram followers, it was like gross. But now it's like, it's just a thing, and you can,
they like it better if you got a bigger following, don't they?
I mean, it makes their lives easier. You have a big following, you say, I'm doing this, they get more viewers, so.
Definitely. Okay, I've got one last question for you.
Okay.
Actually two, because I see you got some medals hanging up in the corner. I just wanted to know what you've been doing for those.
Those?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take you left to right. So, TwoComa Club. The ones in the center above, the crystal ones, are awards we won in another program for $50K in 30 days and $10K in 30 days, two separate ones. But those, my wife and I are active. So we have our Peloton, which doesn't get used enough, but we did we did a half marathon, Tough Mudder, Rugged Maniac, Spartan races. So we like to, we do trail races out here. We're in Arizona, in Phoenix.
I used to do them. That's why I asked you, because I used to do triathlons, and I've done London Marathon. Yeah, and I've done some half marathons.
Can't say I've ever done a triathlon. I think I may want to do a marathon just to again, a feather in the cap. But the whole biking, the swimming thing is what gets me. The swimming.
I love, that's my best bit. I like the swimming. That's
awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, we've really had a lot of fun doing those. Oddly, we did our first one, Tough Mudder, a half Tough Mudder. And literally we did it with the electrical shocks and all that sort of stuff. And the next day we found out we were pregnant with our son or our daughter, one of the two. Yeah. So that was fun. And then I'm doing a Spartan Beast in November. So I set if you follow Jesse Eitzler, who is BYLR, Sarah Blakely's husband, founder of Thanks. He has a whole community, build your life resume, and he has a thing called Misogi's. It's like once a year or whatever, you do these big challenges that push you out of your comfort zone. And so my Misogi this year is to do the Spartan Beast, which is like 13 miles and 30 obstacles, and I am nowhere near ready.
I've done a few mud races, obstacle races. I haven't done them for a while, but they are challenging. I haven't done a Tough Mudder though, but I've done the equivalents.
That's awesome. I think that they're great. They're just fun.
They are fun, yeah. Okay, so my last question. If you're going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
Can I give you two answers?
Sure.
One, I would say, as a kid, I always wanted to, three. My favorite animal as a kid was a giraffe. I don't know why, but so I would say I'd have to be a giraffe. Because I don't know what it's like to be tall. It's such a cool animal. But then I always wanted to be a monkey too, just because that just seems so fun, swinging from trees and doing all that. But I would say if I'm going to be an animal right now today, I would say I would be a lion, just to know that fierce, just presence. I have a sleep.
All right.
So and I think that would be just really to embody that for the day, to bring it back into your life would be really kind of amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you very much for chatting with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun. I hope you had fun. I had fun.
Yeah. Sure. If anybody wants to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out,
sure. It was me.
if anybody wants to find out about your program, where can they go?
Two places. If you want to join our community, you could go to group.whatsgood.co, and that's good with two U's. So it's GUUD.co. And then there's a great community, and you can ask any questions. We're very active, we're active and responsive in there. But if you want to know about our program and all of those aspects of things, I would say you could go to sevenfigurecontentblueprint.co. If you land on it now, it's probably not updated, and today is almost May 31st. So, but if it's after May 31st, 2022, it will be updated.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was so much fun.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.